Welcome to my class, and in this we are going to do cost, continuing on with unit 6 and continuing on with producer's behavior. In the last few classes we talked about the output, product. We talked about a producer's behavior when he uses inputs to make a product, the production function. And in that, we talked about the short run production function, returns to a variable factor. That was the model we studied. And in this, we are going to talk about cost of production. That means we'll take the inputs, they can buying or hiring or the self-owned units of inputs that a producer uses in order to make a product. So that is cost of production. So in this, we will generally be talking about factor inputs, non-factor inputs. Factor inputs are factors of production and non-factor inputs are raw materials. So just have a look. So here we go. You can see that when you're doing concept of cost, we are doing producer's behavior. We are talking about how he has to buy or hire, purchase or hire factors of production, that is inputs. So we call them as explicit costs, and we'll also talk about implicit costs. Now look here. So in order to produce goods, a firm needs inputs. So there are two types of inputs: factor inputs, land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship, called factors of production. And you have non-factor inputs, that is raw material. Now what does cost refer to? It refers to the expenditure incurred by a producer on factors as well as non-factor inputs for a given output of a commodity. So what are explicit costs? Let's talk about explicit and implicit cost. So sometimes it's not all inputs are purchased from the market. A producer may use some self-owned inputs. For example, instead of getting a manager, he himself becomes his own manager, or he becomes his own labor. So he uses his own land or his own premises. So when expenditure that is incurred by the producer, these are known as self-owned factors of production, and these are known as implicit costs. And suppose if he buys some inputs from which mostly is the case, like for example, if he's buying or hiring factors of production, then in that case it is known as explicit costs. So cost in economics is the sum of all expenditures on inputs, and it also includes a certain minimum profit. So the direct expenditure means expenditure on actual purchases or hiring or inputs, which we have explained as explicit costs. The indirect expenditure refers to the estimated value of inputs provided by the owners. These are called implicit costs, and they do not find a place in the account books. So they include some minimum profit too. So what are these minimum profits? They refer to the amount of profit which a producer must get in the long run to continue to produce the given good and not shift production to any other good. That is the normal profit. So we can also define costs as economics cost is the sum of the actual money expenditure on inputs, that is explicit cost, estimated value of inputs provided by the owners, that is implicit cost, and normal profits. So if I say that if I say estimated rent of the building owned by the owners, So what will this be? You're right, that's implicit cost. And if I say salaries of employees, or expenditure on raw material, or rent paid, all of this, what is that? All that will come in explicit cost. So implicit cost is self-owned factors of production. The cost that you estimate on self-owned factors of production. So I hope you've understood what is explicit and implicit cost, and I also said that it also takes up normal profit. So what is normal profit again? Minimum profit, that amount of profit which a producer must get in the long run to continue to produce the given good and not shift production to any other good. So that is known as normal profit. So producer behavior, first step, we are talking about introduction of cost of production. So in the next class we will be doing short run costs.